All right, guys. Hello. It is the last Monday of August. I can't believe it. This month flew by. I feel like we were just starting it and now it's already ending. And I am so excited to be able to bring the heat on this last Monday. I tend to be kind of a hype girl, so this is kind of my thing. I like to hype people up. I like to give words of encouragement. It was something that I used to do as a college point guard, and it was just something that I really like to do to lead my team. And so I'm honored to be able to kind of hype us up and then pass it over to Kendra to share some, intentionality and some work stuff that she's been doing that has really moved the needle in her business this month. So first things first, what I want to start off with tonight, guys, is if you have a pencil and paper near, or if you have your phone, I want you to write down your why again. Write down your why, because it's important to remember why you started. And it's okay if it's changed, but I want you to spend about 30 seconds writing down your why. I know 3 years ago from when I started to now, it's changed. It was to be, have my IBS gone. Then my IBS was gone. And then it was to be able to be a stay-at-home mama and leave teaching. That happened. So then I had to just keep kind of changing. So the longer I feel like you're in this business and the longer you build a team and the longer, you feel better and you help others feel better, your why is going to change. So write down your why and reflect on that and come back to that, because what we're going to talk about today is all going to reflect on that why. Why you're even here tonight reflects on that why. Okay. All right. So we create our own momentum, right? So raise your hand right now if you're ready to create some momentum these next 3 days. Who's ready? Like, not just saying you're ready, but who's actually ready to step into action and create some momentum? Raise your hand. Okay. So first thing I want to do tonight is I want you to take, I just talked about this in my stories. I want you to take your thoughts captive. I was listening to a trainer, a diamond, Megan Goff, and she was saying how we need to take our thoughts captive. We need to, regardless of how the month's gone so far, regardless if you haven't hit your goal or created that business builder or moved in points or whatever your goal was and you thought you should be at right now in this time of month and you're not there, throw it out the window. Like, literally take those thoughts that you've had in your head and put them under your feet and just crush them. Okay. Start fresh tonight. Like, start fresh. Okay. So thoughts affect feelings, which then create our actions, and then they drive our results. I circled that and I circled that and I circled that. I'm like, okay, duh. Thoughts affect our feelings, because whatever we think is how we're going to feel, right? And then that then creates how we act. Are we going to go sit on the couch, or are we going to go bust out some work, right? And then that drives our results. Are we going to add that VIP? Are we going to send out those 3 business messages? Are we going to get the winning day done, right? So if you think you don't have time, you won't. If you think you're too busy, you will be, okay? If you think I don't know what to do, you probably will be paralyzed, right? If you think you won't find business builders, you probably won't. And then if you think you're not any good at this, you probably won't be, right? So the key part of all of this is to really get organized. Get organized in your why. Get organized in why you are here. Get organized, and then stop the negative self-talk. We talked about, or our pastor talked about this at church on Sunday, and it aligned so good with the notes that I was taking from our diamond, or not our diamond, but a diamond, Megan Goff. And she was talking about, your thoughts and, momentum and intention. And our pastor Nate, this weekend, sorry, my dog is barking and it's really freaking me out outside. No clue. And I hear my chickens. I'm like, oh gosh, we just adopted a dog, and I'm like, oh gosh, it better not be hearing my chickens. Anyway, so I want you to raise your hand right now if you've had a negative thought this month. Raise your hand if you had a negative thought this month. Okay. Raise your hand again if you've had a negative thought in the last hour. I thought I was not going to do great at this call. Like, why do we think like that? Like, why? We're all of value. We're all his daughter, like, why are we constantly being negative about ourselves? I was talking in my stories today and I'm like, why are we so quick to judge ourselves and be hard on ourselves when we can look at our husband or our kids or a friend and we can say, stop it, right? We need to do the same for ourselves. So stop focusing on what we want to do so much and focus on what we want to become or who we want to become. Really hone in on this part of the journey, on why you're here. And that's why I had you write down your why before we started, okay? Life doesn't have to be perfect for you to move forward in this business. And it won't ever be perfect, right? It's never going to be perfect. So you just have to move with action. You have to move with intentionality, right? So it's our name on the back office, right? Jill tells us that all the time. It's our name on the back office. We're in charge for our paycheck. We're in charge for the work that we do. So intention is the author of our results. And I kind of circled that too. That was a big one for me. When I was listening to Megan Goff talk on one of her YouTubes, but she's like, intention is the author of results. Get an accountability buddy if you need to. Me and Marissa, we decided today, we're like, you know what? Every single day from now, the next 3 days, and in September, we're checking in every single morning. We are going to tell each other what our intention is that morning. And then we are going to hold each other accountable. And we're not going to go to sleep that night until it's done. We are that serious about getting to Emerald by December. Like, we've put a date on it. And we're tired of beating around the bush. We're tired of going in circles. And we're going to be very vulnerable, very bold. And I know some of you guys are in the same boat too. You're like, I'm tired of being where we're at in life. I'm tired of being in this self-negative thoughts. I'm tired of just being stuck. I'm tired of not living out my legacy. I'm tired of not achieving the goals that I say I'm going to achieve. And you're tired of it, right? Who wouldn't be tired of not hitting those things? So we have to take action. And guys, let me tell you this, it's not going to happen by one time or one day, by one action. It's going to happen by multiple times, like multiple actions, multiple days. And we say for a habit to be created, right, it's going to take 60 to 90 days. It's probably going to be the same thing in your business, right? You want to see results in the gym. It's going to take a little while. You're not just going to walk out with a six-pack, right? It's the same thing with our business. So I am going to pass it over to Kendra. She is going to be sharing about some intentional killer work that she's been doing this month. Her points are skyrocketing. We're going to have a new Ruby in the house before we know it. And she's going to share some great things that she's been doing this month. So I'm speaking it into existence. Remember, if you think it, it will happen.
Hey, I receive it in Jesus' name. Let's do it.
Amen.
Okay. I'm so excited. Thanks, Kelsey. That was so good. And y'all, like, talking about making yourself just get up and do the thing. I have been in bed multiple times and like just worn out from the day. I joke about wanting to just throw my phone across the room by the end of the day sometimes because I'm the type of person that like will leave my phone in the room and I'm okay with it. And I'm like, where's my phone? I don't know. Like I probably should go find it. But I've had my phone glued to my hand for the past 2 months because I am like, no, like I have a goal, like I have some things like that I'm gonna do. And so like I have to make sure I'm getting stuff done. My poor husband, he was like, hey, let's watch a movie here in a little while. I'm like, remember, it's Monday night. Like, I'm not going to get done until probably 9:15, 9:30. And he's like, all right, we can wait another night. Like, he knows, like, I've got some business to do, buddy. But I have been in bed and told myself, like, said out loud, like, fine, I'll get up and do it. Like, sometimes you just have to boss yourself around, you know? Anyways, okay, so some new things that I have been doing this month may not be new to you. And sometimes I feel like when we hear from other people, we're really just sharing our own perspective and you can take what you need from it and dissect it and use it however it works for you. But confession, I hate phone calls. Raise your hand if you hate phone calls. You do not want to be on the phone. Like I'll send a voice message all day long. I can text all day long. I will email you. But to get on a phone call with someone, like it makes me sweat. Like I'll get off a phone call and I'm like, I smell like a like a taco stand. Because I'm like, oh, it made me so nervous. And I don't know why. Like I can get on a stage, I can preach, I can do all the things. But to get on a phone call, I don't know. Like I'm nervous thinking about it right now. So something I implemented this month was as soon as I get someone as a VIP, I just send them a message and say, hey, I would love to take 5 minutes of your time tomorrow and explain a little bit about the VIP benefits. Do you have a couple minutes? What time is best for you tomorrow? After 4 o'clock. And usually they're like, I'd love to. Yeah, here's the time I'm available. I usually give them like a couple options, tomorrow afternoon or the next day. And so I'll get on the phone call, and the two major points that I hit when I am talking to them is talking about their subscription. I want them to know right off the bat, you're going to have a subscription run next month. You probably saw it when you were checking out. Make sure you take some time to get familiar with your account, go in, figure out how to edit the date, to edit the items that are in there. And I usually tell them, especially if they got the triplex, like, hey, you got the triplex. So I would encourage you to not change it next month. Keep that because you're going to want to have that consistency before you change it to something else. So I talk about subscription, and then I also talk about the referral link. I don't even share about the business. I just say, hey, as you start taking your products, you're going to have people asking you, what are you doing? Because you're going to notice a difference. So I'm building their belief as I'm saying that. Like, I'm ensuring them you're going to see a difference if you're consistent. So talk about the referral link, show them how to find it. I'll even send them a quick little video of my screen showing how to like click through and find the referral link. And usually if they're like, oh yeah, like I would really love to know about that, then that's when I might text them and insert them into like a messenger event that we've done recently, depending on where it falls in the month. Because if it's like the end of the month and we did one like a long time ago, I'm probably not going to send them to that. So I might send them to a messenger event talking about the referral links, or I will share a video with them that we've done talking about the benefits of sharing the products with people. We did one, I think it was last month, that Jill led, and it was fantastic. She just talked about how, she had big goals, big vision, and it's just a really basic, it's not about teachers, it's not about nurses. It was just a very basic, good video. So that's my initial call. So then after that, once they get their products and I see them starting to share, maybe they shared on their stories, maybe not doing a whole lot, but just kind of like interested. Maybe they're talking to me, saying they're liking their products. Then I send them a voice message if they have iPhones, because I do have some people that are not iPhone users. And I'm like, great, I have to send you a text message instead. Just kidding. Love the Android users. Send them a message and say, hey, I have a great idea. Because we're not lying, right? Like I try to act like it's the first time I've thought of it, but it's really not. But just trying to create that excitement. Hey, I have a great idea. Because you are new to sharing and new to Plexus, I would love to host a launch party for you. I will do all the work. I will create the event. I will do all the stuff in the event. All you have to do is get your people there. Does this sound like something you are open to? And 95% of the time in this past month, they have said yes. So I even send them a script. I say, hey, here's the script. And I'm actually tonight going to share my note. I created a note that has like the invite message in there and every single script that I do in the messenger event. So I can share that with all of you guys. So then I just tell them like, okay, here's the message. Go ahead and start sending this out. And they get excited. They're like, oh my gosh, yes. Like I have a couple people who've been talking to me. I wasn't really sure, besides my referral link, how to share that with them. So most people have been really excited about it because it's more about them and less about the products. And so something I've noticed is like, if you make it about them, like they're going to get their people there. And then the people that are there may not necessarily be there for the products, but they're going to support their girl, right? Like, hey, this is my sister Sally. She's on this new thing. I am here to support her no matter what. And they might get there and then realize they love the products and they want to buy some stuff. So that's kind of the gist of it. So I honestly think I've had like 7 events in the past few weeks. I have one tomorrow night and then one the next night. Something I would also encourage is when they have objections about the event, maybe they say, well, I don't have time. You just remind them, I'm doing all of it for you. Take 10 minutes, send out like 5 messages and let me know when you get responses from people and I'll help you navigate those. Okay, so that's like inviting. Leading up to the event, I'm coaching them on, hey, here's how you help someone build a cart. because when the event is over, I'm going to send people to you so you can send them a cart. Here's how you do that. And I give them a little script on like, or instructions on, here's how you send a custom cart. Here's how you send a welcome pack cart. Make sure they know what the promo code is. So doing a lot of coaching on the front side of it. And then I'm also letting them know like, hey, you might get people respond about the money. And then tell them like, tomorrow after the event, I'm going to send you some options you can give people if they say it's too expensive. I'm also going to send you a follow-up message tomorrow. Okay, so we have the event, blah, blah, blah. The next day, telling them, hey, send a quick message individually to every person that attended the event and say, hey, I would love to hear your thoughts on the event last night. Tell me what stood out to you the most. So we're not asking them, are you interested? If you have questions, no, what are your questions? What stood out to you? And then coaching them through those conversations has been huge. And so that way they don't feel like they're in it alone. They're brand new to Plexus, brand new VIPs. I don't expect them to just go and do an event by themselves. But it's been really fun having these events and actually watching them be like the hype girl in it. I'm like, okay, like you said you weren't ever going to sell a single thing. And here you are like, hey guys, it's in 30 minutes. Hey, don't forget. Oh, I love this one. I'm going to buy this next month. Like, and I'm like, okay. So they're excited. They're bought in. They're invested. And one girl the other day, not the other day, it was actually today. Today feels like 3 days in one. But today I was talking to someone. I said, hey, she just finished up a reset. Some of y'all know her, it's Jamie Eanes. She just finished up a reset. And I said, hey, why don't we do a messenger event for you this week? It's the end of the month. Let's see if you can get your products paid for next month. And she's like, ooh, I really don't know about that. I don't know if anyone would come. And I was like, hey, you don't know till you try. And I said, you've been sharing a lot about the reset. Why don't we make it strictly about the reset? That way you can share your results in there. You can let me explain to people what the benefits of the reset are, all of that. So made it specific to the reset. And she was like, oh, okay, I think I can do that, because it felt more natural to her because she had just come from doing that. And so we're calling it a reset party, where we're celebrating her finishing the reset and asking people to also do the reset as well. So here in a minute, I'm gonna log in to Zoom on my phone, and I'll share those notes with y'all, so that way y'all can, I made it to where no one can edit. So sorry, you'll just have to like copy the note and paste it to your own. But feel free to take all of that and use it for yourself, for your team. There's pictures in there of some of our own team members. Feel free to use any testimonials you'd like. There's a couple stories in there. So if you don't like them, remove them, put your own story, your own testimony. You can make it however you want. This is just a template. The ones that I've been doing have been focusing on like energy and weight loss. So that's it. Take it, use it, however you'd like.
Hey, I have a question real quick. Do you tell that, like, is there people that have only added one or two, or do you say like, if you find 3 people, I'll host this, or how does that work as far, do you tell them how many to invite?
No, because they've just all been pretty successful. I've had one that had 5, I had one that had 23.
Okay.
So I think just go ahead and do it. Like, I wouldn't even say if you find 3 people, because I think that might put some doubt in their mind. Like, hey, yeah, I'm going to create this for you, get to inviting people. And then I think it'll be successful,
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I also think it might put a cap on like the number of people they send invites to, too, if you say just find 3 friends. So I love that. And something else Kendra shared today on the gold call was she calls them a launch party, right? For your girls.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. It's like, oh, they were more apt to like do an event if it wasn't called like a wellness event. It was more not as technical, just kind of like a, fun launch party or whatever they wanted. Yeah. Be called. You can even ask them what they want it to be called. So I love that. Thanks for sharing all those. Does anyone else
go in the notes now and share?
Thank you.
I'm gonna want to add one thing too. For stories, also, I like to ask my people, thank y'all for sharing, that was awesome. But I like to ask my people to, like, hey, of the people you're inviting, is there something that we need to focus on for them? Like, is it pregnant people in there? Are there breastfeeding people on there? Are there nurses? So ask them, like, what is your audience looking for? And then I always go to the More About Plexus page and then find a story that relates to that person, because, obviously in sales, you want to target your audience and it's going to be more relatable to them. If it's, if there's a bunch of men in there, you need to post some men pictures and not just women, or they're going to be like, this is just for girls. Like, why am I in here? So a great question to ask the people that you are hosting it for.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. If you have any more questions, just type them in the chat. But before we wrap it up, I just have two more things. So we aren't going to leave here without a challenge. So we are going to challenge everyone. We have 3 days left to do your own messenger event. Okay. You can do one every night. You can do 2 a night, 3 a night. There's no cap on it. Okay. You can just do one in the next 3 days, whatever you feel comfortable with. And if your intention is to, build more by the end of this month, which I'm sure all of ours is, the more the merrier, right? I know I have 3 on Wednesday, 3 just on Wednesday myself, from 8 to 9 o'clock. So, or not 8 to 9 o'clock, but between those time frames. So I might need a little help from my upline. But anyway, I'm excited, and I'm excited for y'all to try them. It's seriously not as hard as you would think. It's literally copy, paste. And then once you do one, you're going to feel more confident about doing another one. And then the second challenge I was going to have you guys do was to write down your intention moving forward these next 3 days and send it to your upline. Every single one of you. What is your intention moving forward these next 3 days? Because remember, Jill's talked big on this. All of us have talked big on this. There's 2 different ways we can go here. You can get off this call tonight and you can say, there's 3 days left in the month. I'm this far away from my goal. I'm going to just be okay, mediocre with where I'm at. And you're going to throw in the towel and you're going to give up, and you're going to let those self-talk negative thoughts deplete you, right? You're just going to stay where you're at. Or you can be the other person that is like, no, my intention is to add 3 more VIPs this month. I'm going to host my own messenger event, and I am going to rise my points by 50 points. And say those things. If you say those things, you're more apt to do them, right? So start speaking it every day to yourself. I'm going to do this. I am this, right? I am going to find a business builder. And the more you find that you practice it, the better you're going to get. And I read something today that was like something along the line of this business is built between your ears. It literally is. And it all has to do with here. So if any of this tonight scared you, good. If any of this tonight gets you uncomfortable coming up with an intention and reaching out to your upline about it, or hosting your own event, or any of those things, good, because those things that make us uncomfortable are the things that we need to do the most, right? And I also have been listening to things tons these last few days, but if you don't know what to do, I listened, they said, do a live. If you are so stuck in your business that you don't know what to do on the winning day, even though that's all laid out for you, if you just feel paralyzed with what to do, or you've done all of that and you don't know what else to do next, go live. Go live and tell your testimony. Go live and tell your business testimony. Go live with a friend. And that's something we all need to do better at, is going live, right? Because people can see your true self. They can see your vulnerability. They can, your audience wants to see you. They're going to join because of you. I say that almost every time I do a meetup or a call on here. I'm like, they want to see you, right? Same thing with an event. They're going to want to see you, their leader, their person. Okay. So we have 3 days left. Let's bring some momentum. We're sprinting to the end of the month and propelling into September, guys, because there's big things coming in September. So we've been told. Can't wait to hear out what they are. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. I'm going to stop recording. If you guys have any